businesses on Greenwood every Saturday 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the historic Greenwood district. 100 block of North Greenwood Ave in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Follow the good music and stop by the Greenwood Beat booth to advertise with us.
Hey, everybody. It's Refocused and Informed Radio Talk Show on the Greenwood Beat. And this is Angela K. Chambers in the house. Listen, we're missing Francetta again this week, but prayerfully she'll be back with us rolling next week and doing what we do. I have a special guest in studio with me today, and I'm so excited because, listen, there's a lot going on in T-Town, a lot going on. And Refocused and Informed, we're talking about justice. We always are talking about justice because we need justice, and that's just what it is. So I want to give a shout out to our radio family, True School Radio in the DMV. What's up? Thank you guys for listening. Kaleidoscope Radio Network in Oklahoma City, our listeners in Chicago and Philly, Texas, California, Oklahoma City, New Jersey, and Montgomery, Alabama. Hey, y'all still got it lit up down there? Listen, I don't know, yesterday was some kind of day here in Tulsa, and it definitely will be one that people will be talking about for a while, and it's it's time for justice. It's just really time for justice. I don't want to get into all of that. Hopefully when Francetta get back, we might touch on it a little bit with this case because it's dealing with the city of Tulsa as well. Listen, there's a lot of back to school backpack giveaways and just back to school grooming. They're doing haircuts and all kinds of things. Get connected to the community. Go support those businesses. You see what they're doing in the community during the time the kids are going back to school. You see some of them doing coat drives and just different things throughout the year. Make sure you support those businesses that are organizing these events that I'm sure organizing events myself in the past, I know that you come out of your own pocket and you're not always reimbursed. So just go patronize them and spend some money with them. Support them. Share their posts. Go on social media. Share their website or do whatever. Refer somebody to them. But make sure you remember them throughout the year, not just when they're doing something good deeds for the community. Yeah, so listen, today in studio, and then, today, so I have a few minutes of inspiration coming, and it'll be, it's me, and it'll be every, it'll just be in rotation. You'll hear it every now and then, but we're going to roll it out today at the end of the show, so make sure you stay here. At the end of the show, we're going to roll it out, and just I hope it encourages you or inspires you in some way. But listen, I'm not going to go long. I'm going to introduce my guest, which is Sondia Bell. Hey, Sondia. I love my little effects. But thank you so much for coming on the show. Let me get you some volume.
Yes.
There you go.
Thanks for having me. I feel like I'm a veteran of
certainly. Good. I'm like, listen, come on in when we got to get here before you start because you know what you're doing. So yes, and thank you for just coming in. Listen, just for everything because I know you're doing a lot. Shout out to just the platform you created, which is tying into this whole justice thing. It's like it's right on time with the ratemyattorney.co, and that's ratemyattorney.co. Make sure you take note of that, write that down, go visit it. Put information in it, share information you have about attorneys, good or bad, because we need to know. We need to support the good ones, and we need to let people know the bad ones, and hopefully that will bring some correction, self-correction to those who are doing whatever. But you know what? I'm really disappointed because of the Bar Association. I don't know, you've sent some complaints, and other folks have sent complaints, and then yesterday was just crazy, and I found out that the Bar Association had actually decided to file something from some complaints from 5 years ago. Now, I don't know if they're just that backlogged, but it sure looks like retaliation. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
they told me something different. They don't do that part.
So they did against Ron Durbin yesterday. Wow. And that was the reason for the warrant. That was the reason for behind it. So that's what's being reported on the news.
Interesting.
But the cases are so old. It's like, why didn't you do something about it back then when it was filed instead of waiting, which looks like it's just retaliation.
Everything in Tulsa.
It's just retaliation, and it's sickening. It's sickening and it's frustrating. And two things I hate. I hate that it happens, of course, and I hate the narrative that's being the spin now is that that it's a race thing. Right, which sounds crazy because he's white, they're white, it's white. You know what I mean? Yeah. But just the theory someone was sharing. I don't want to give her too much credit because I don't wish this like ugh. Yeah. But it's not about. This is not about going after one individual person. This is a system of people, a system that's supposed to work one way. The system, there's definitely some flaws in the system itself, and it's behind old laws, old way of doing things. It doesn't take into account the new stuff, new technology, all those things, right? Yeah. But then you also have the people side, where the people who are misusing the system, using it to their advantage, having their friends do a favor and this favor, now owe you a favor, and all those things. And so it's frustrating to see the different spins than what it is. This is retaliation. This is what happens when, as Francetta says, you got your hand caught in the cookie jar, right? And you got caught, and initially, which I wasn't, too fond of, because I want the answers. I want to know all the stuff. Again, what my position or my concern about the Greenwood Chamber of Commerce being denied ARPA funds. And so I was like, my ears were up because let's get the information. Let's find out why they were denied, the real reasons. And so initially, Attorney Durbin was like, I just want you guys to say, I'll stop texting, and I won't do it again. It's a violation of the Open Meetings Act, and I won't do it. And I was like, oh, please don't. And in true rare form, they were like, nah, we ain't gonna say sorry, and we ain't gonna say, I don't know if they stopped or not, but they're like, we're not gonna say I'm sorry. So here we are. And he started digging. And then the digs start getting a little deeper, and then of course you have to get it. It's going out further, and then it ended up putting a judge, a court. Who would think that? Oh, those screenshots.
That's all it
we call them receipts, right?
Yeah, that's
if he didn't have the screenshot, the receipts from where the information was changed in the court records. I mean, come on. We're talking about justice, hey, on Refocused and Inform. We're just going to tell the truth. Because that is just, man. So you wonder how deep and how far out it goes. Right. And so, Tulsa.
Unfortunately, she's my judge on where the attorney fraudulently deeded the properties over.
You know what? I can see that. I can see that. I can see that being the case
with them, and they told me that's not their issue.
You
got to go to court and let us know what happened after. And it's like,
so give the listeners a little,
Yeah. So the judge that's in the hot seat right now, because I think it's the hot seat.
Yeah,
I'm so glad
bright light.
Yeah, I'm so glad it's not us, and I hate to say that because they expect that for us.
Yeah,
us. That's the only way we know we can get justice is through the court system.
Sure.
But for them, it's like, hey, let's do some favors. We don't want to put our media out there. They never have drama. We always have drama. And it's like, we don't purposely have drama, but this is our way of getting justice. We have to file stuff. Everybody in Tulsa know your whole business. All they do is read it. For them, they work deals. But in this case, Ron don't want no deals.
Okay.
So, and I appreciate that, because I'm like, finally, we get to see what we go through, and we finally get to see how you guys operate. And
right.
See, he's not operating like they want him to operate. So that's why it's just blowing up. This is not how it's supposed to happen. We're supposed to sit in the chambers. We're supposed to sit on the golf course, and we're supposed to make things happen.
Right.
Where nobody knows. It's supposed to be the hush hush. Where we always got to expose ourselves. We always got to make a fool of ourselves. And we're not really making a fool of ourselves, but that's how they look at us. You know what I mean? They don't look at us. We can't go in the chamber and say, okay, let's just make this go away and not talk about it ever again. So, but anyways, going to the story of dealing with the attorney, I was just basically looking on a county assessors trying to figure out the property as far as the taxes. I noticed that, a couple of properties wasn't changed over names, and when I sold, so I'm like, let me see what's going on, and I calls down there, hey, oh no, we haven't updated it yet. I was like, okay. But I noticed 2 of my properties was gone. And I was like, wait a minute. Am I missing something? And it was like, no. So I went down there, pulled the records to see what exactly happened. And the county told me, well, that was done correctly because you had a lawyer did it. A lawyer went down there and filed it. So in the state of Oklahoma, if anything a lawyer do, it's done correctly no matter what because they're a lawyer. And I'm like, but I didn't sign off. This is a LLC. This is a limited liability company, meaning there are 2 or more members. So if you don't see my signature signed off saying I agree to sell this property, but there's no way someone can sell this property, move, and they didn't even sell it. Let's back up. They just moved it out of the business into their personal name and then power death to their children. So, dirty. I didn't, where was the meeting? Do we not, in the LLC, you have meetings. The way our operating agreement is wrote up, you have meetings. You're supposed to sit down. We're supposed to talk about it and then make a decision on what we're going to do. But to just basically say, screw you and just do it, I'm like, so this whole time while I'm operating, taking care of this house, making for sure, because at this time, this particular house, Tulsa Housing wasn't even doing their part. So I'm fighting, trying to make sure that the money is getting paid to make sure we take care of the responsibilities that we need to take care of this house, which I was doing it. And little did I not know, I'm not even owning this house anymore. Wow. So I'm like, really? So I go down there, I'm fighting. They tell me, oh, if you want us to do this and do that, you got to file a police report. Do that. Okay. So I said, what's next? Well, we're going to turn it into our supervisor. Okay, what's next? Supervisor reviews it 2 weeks. Well, it was done by a lawyer, so that's right as well. You got to file a petition. File a petition to put some stuff back that was in my company's name to begin with? Yeah. What? Why? Well, because that's the rules. And I'm like, okay, so $10,000 to go find an attorney to get some stuff done back that it was already in.
Are y'all hearing this? I just want to give a little short recap. So she owned the property. Someone filed a fake notarized deed or a change of deed and changed it out of her name. And quite frankly, there's some stuff going on. Several people around town have been doing something similar where, it's crazy.
But it ain't no someone. It's an attorney. Yeah, that's specific. That I filed with the bar and told them that he was doing it. And all the attorney has to say is, well, we wanted to, they know how to bull jive. The reason why we did it because we wanted to protect and make sure she don't take anything. That's not the law. That's not the legal way. That's the LLC operating agreement. Why don't we hold attorneys? That's why I rate my attorney, guys, because if they don't hold these lawyers accountable, who will? Who will? Yeah. I'm like, now, on the other hand, if there was an African-American attorney that would have did that, he probably would have been arrested here in Tulsa. Just like Ron was, he would have been arrested. He would have been everything under the sun, you know. But you guys letting this man walk around freely like he did something right. I was expecting the bar to say, show me where you operated under this operating agreement where you set Miss Bell down and asked her, did she agree or not to agree? I need to see some kind of history where you and Miss Bell...
The meeting notes, The meeting
notes. Yeah, just basically that, and it's like, no. Well, we don't get into that. So when you say the Bar Association actually filed this... Yes. I cannot wait to go home and get prepared to write something up and say... you get involved with this legal matter, but this legal matter where an attorney fraudulently, because this is fraud to me.
Yeah.
You fraudulently notarized a deed saying that this company deeds these property over to an individual and then let him deed them over, power over death to his children.
Yeah. It seems like something that the district attorney should be on top of. I mean, I don't know if you can file a complaint with him or ask him to prosecute fraud, because that was definitely fraud.
Definitely.
And I don't know. We need to talk about that a little further.
I need to get on. Yeah. And the thing probably why I haven't pursued, which I know, because they come in like flies. You know, when you really go after someone, like how they doing Ron, they just, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They just come for, his lawyer's like, oh, wow, she filed the bar. So he's like coming with all kind of, and these lawyers just can write anything nowadays. So it makes me really see wrongful conviction is real out here.
Oh, sure.
Because if you could just write all these lies on these petitions, and because you're a lawyer, no one questions. Just imagine about wrongful convictions of how many people by just a report is in somewhere they're not supposed to be because someone just decided to say, I want to take their life away. I want to make sure they spend life. You know?
And you remember, I think you were there, but Johnny had mentioned to us that it really, the attorneys run the work. I mean, they run the whole gamut.
Yeah.
And if they can keep you fighting all kinds of things, motion for this, that, and this and that, and just have you spending money out the wazoo, even though you're right and may eventually be found right in the end, you still may be drugged through whatever.
Right.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
No, that you went through.
And he just basically said, if you really want justice here in Oklahoma, you better go be an attorney.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way you're going to win. He said the attorneys is more powerful than the judges.
See, and that's crazy. Okay, so, and that's just a little piece of what we're here for. Because what we're here for is your story, which I've kind of been privy to most of it from the beginning, and which was unbelievable.
Thank God for Angela, you guys. She was my cheerleader and had not, fell apart. And some people don't understand you really need cheerleaders when you fight in the state of Oklahoma. And I don't mean to call them cheerleaders, because I don't think it's a low blow, but you really need a support system.
Sure.
If nobody supports you, your story just go unnoticed, pushed to the curve, and that's it. And that's what a lot of stories here in Oklahoma. And it's like, we need to be advocates for each other and support each other because our stories are big here.
Yeah. And while you were going through initially, I was like, okay, after this, they're gonna most companies would have been, okay, this is serious, it's in writing, she did this and said this, and we need to stop. But they just no, and I guess that's where that whole vibe they have going on, like they control it, they rule the world, this is it, this is their Tulsa, they control it all, they don't care if they do you wrong or right, or if an employee does wrong, they're going to do what they can to cover it up and make it look right, even if they get on to them and you don't know anything about it. But in the up front, it's not gonna be any, I'm sorry, we did wrong.
Never.
They did you wrong.
Never.
Let's correct this. That you didn't experience, and that was so surprising though to me. It was really, honestly, it was really in your face. I was like, now surely, because you hit them with some factual, like this, and this, and like, oh yeah, well we're just gonna cover. No, okay, so let's go. You go. I'm gonna be quiet for a minute over here.
Okay, so I'll tell you the little basics because I am still in court, and I don't, you never know. I'm sure anytime they see I was told that my flyer gets floating around there.
Sure,
so I'm sure they love listening to my story. Which I know they don't have.
Yeah, shout out to them now. Thank you for listening.
Hey, and let me tell y'all really made me just blow, because without you guys making this transition in my life by letting me go, I'm really seeing my full potential that I've been hiding for so many years. And knew I always had it because my mom always told me as I was growing up, you just do too much, you into too much, and you just. But now I'm seeing it and I'm actually doing it. So thank you. I want to thank them because I would have never did this.
Yeah.
But you know, to actually go to the starting of the story. So the worst pandemic happened. You know, schools were closing, nowhere to send your child, and actually children. But at this particular time, it was just a child because I still was able to send my toddler to daycare. Shout out to all the daycares out there that stayed open during the pandemic. Thank you, because they risked their lives taking care of our children. But my particular child that has autism, you know, I just didn't trust anybody, you know, and don't get me wrong, I do believe in trying. I would do a trial, but you know, if you come back to me and you about ready to kill him and he's about ready to kill you through his language, it's a wrap.
And during a time like that, I don't know, that was the right time to experience, you know, to take that chance. Yeah,
and you really shouldn't have to, because I was seeing my employees in Alabama and in Mississippi saying, hey, if you need anything, just send us an email. You know, and it's like...
No, what do you mean? So you talking about people that worked with you, your colleagues in the city of Tulsa that worked out of state?
Out of state.
Okay,
you know,
that's like a big slap in the face.
Because people quick to say, well, how you know your department wasn't allowed? First of all, these people were in the IT department. Yeah. Sending these emails. Second of all, my department should have been the least flexible because it was the administrative department. I was the
most flexible because yes,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was the, administrative department. So why is it that and I had a laptop.
Yeah.
And my job consists of going to different locations at times to help the department. So why was it so hard for me to work from home in the state of Oklahoma? Not Alabama, not Mississippi, in Oklahoma.
Right.
So I had a hard time trying to digest that. And with me being me, I just wasn't going to let that go. So I filed a grievance.
Right.
And
and I want to interject that because that's their process. That's what you're supposed to do, is to file a grievance. Okay, go ahead.
Don't ever file a grievance if you work for the city of Tulsa. Do not ever take it from someone who went through the roller coaster. When you file a grievance with the city of Tulsa, that's basically telling them to come fire me. I'm next. They do not believe in a policy where you actually are asking for answers. And that's all I wanted. I just wanted to know why me versus my colleagues cannot work from home. I understand I'm Black. I understand I'm a woman. And I understand I have an exceptional child. But why is it that I can't perform my job in my home just like my coworkers that's a different ethnic background than me?
Right.
And it wasn't an option. It was a flat out no. One point in time, it was where's your children going to be? In my office. And I'm not even going to say that on air, but in my office, and I was like, seriously? Yeah. And I came back with, where's someone's cat?
Right.
Because that's considered, people love animals.
Yeah, sure.
So if you're allowing them to be home with their animal, what's the difference with me and my child?
Right.
What's the difference? I don't consider my child and an animal the same comparison, but I'm telling you, people give animals rights these days. So I want to know what's the difference. Or even if they did have children, I don't know. I wasn't in their personal business, but they working from home, my point is. So do you micromanage everyone that's working from home, and do you see what goes on in their home?
Right.
But the point that got me was when the CIO told me, sure you can, before I asked his manager. So you're the CIO and you're telling me, sure you can. Reach out to this person that works in my department, which is the IT department, and follow the steps.
Yeah.
I reaches out by email because I know how the game goes.
Yeah.
Email and say, hey, do you remember me? Knowing dang well she remember me, but I got to put that in writing. I'm just wondering, what's the process to work from home? I do know who you are. Yes. And it's super, super easy, Sondia.
Okay.
You just do this and this.
Okay.
2 steps.
2 steps.
Not for Sondia. It was 2 steps up out of there.
Yeah. That was the start of it.
Yeah. So I did her 2 steps, and nothing happened.
Okay.
And so that's when I filed the grievance. Actually thought the grievance president was actually going to work in my favor. He basically turned against me in a session, basically telling me that you're not as perfect as you want to believe you are, but you can come off as very, oh man, I recorded everything he said.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I appreciate your opinion of me, but it's like, how we get my personal feelings in here when all I did was come to you and file a grievance.
Right.
That's it. I just asked why come I can't work from home. But of course you're going to see a different type of personality through these phases when you're getting harassed.
Right.
You're getting locked out of a bathroom because you filed a grievance that you used for 2.5 years with your white coworker. You getting your flex time revoked that you've been doing ever since you've been recruited for this position. Oh, by the way, they recruited me for this position.
Yeah.
Meaning they went out and made the position. So when you're in, you're in.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
This is how they operate. When they want you,
Yeah.
they make jobs for you.
Yes,
it ain't
they do.
oh, you work through the ladder. No, when we want you, we go create something to get you where we want you.
Yeah.
So you people that thinking, oh, you can climb and climb and climb, somebody can come right through that door and they say, oh, make him a job. We gotta have him. It's that simple. Because that's what they did for me. They made that job for me and they hired me. And they also hired a peer that didn't have the qualifications, that didn't look like me. It was just because they wanted to make for sure she get the pay as the same as me.
Yeah.
It told me when I got the position and told me she haven't got the money yet, so don't talk about your pay. Oh, okay. I didn't know it was anything to be talked about. Oh, I just wanted to make sure.
And by the way, that's illegal right there, that employees can discuss their pay. That's part of
especially
most
a public entity.
Yeah. But it's illegal. I mean, private companies cannot put that out there. I had to change that up. Yeah, you cannot tell your employees that they can't discuss their wages with other people, because that's how people find out that they're not being paid the same as a coworker who they feel they may have the same experience or qualifications or even better. Right. So go ahead.
Yeah. Told me not to talk about it. I said, hey, I mean, I don't boost my pay like that. I don't want nobody knowing my business. No way. But the fact he told me, he said, yes, because I'm working with HR to get what you make it. And I'm thinking, well, is she qualified? What degrees does she have? And have she worked in a procurement setting before? Yeah. Oh, no, she was just my admin. And your admin gonna get the same pay as me with no qualifications. So that's another way where they're not gonna come out with student loan debt, because they don't have to get an education to get that position. It's all about, hey, I got the background, the ethnic background that qualifies me. That should be on the application, which I know it is on the application, but it should be like a different type of, do you have the ethnic background of being white? Yes. Oh, you qualified. You know, I'm serious, because that's the qualification that she had. That was it. She was actually going to school and was going to be dealing with counseling. Didn't have nothing to do with IT. But guess what? She got that IT job with the same pay as Sondia. And when it come time to do the job, she couldn't do it. Yeah. I used to see emails come to me every day saying, that's Sondia's job. That's Sondia's job. I had to have a meeting with him in writing saying, we need to talk. Because if she's hired for the same job that I'm doing, why is she forwarding everything to me as if she don't do the job? Yeah. Well, I haven't trained her. But he's smart. He never put nothing in writing. It was always come to my office. I haven't trained her. Okay, well, when you going to train her? Because I tried, and it was a no-go. I'm the type of person, we teammates. Let's make sure. So when I'm absent, you can do the job. Right. Because when I was told I couldn't work from home, it was because he's short-staffed. Well, if you have someone doing the same job that should know the job, you should be short-staffed. Right. So
if you're paying, especially paying somebody.
Especially if you're showing all these perks of how are you getting the raises if this person is not doing the job? What kind of lies are you putting on this person's performance for her to get the same raise as me if she cannot do the job?
And now, so all of the employees at the city of Tulsa should just be outraged with that. Just simply outraged to know that some employees can just skip up and be paid this and that because their supervisor is cool with them and like them, go through the hoops for them and do all those things. And it's just time. It's a lot of stuff going on. It's time for
it was
just open everything up.
It was so hurtful to see someone that could be my mother, how they work and was the lowest paid on our team. And I was like, why? You know, like I go in there and fight for her because I'm like, that shouldn't be happening like this. But we are so trained to be humble and just be appreciative of what we got. They have trained us to make us believe, shut up, do your job, and go home and do it again the next day. Because I was one, you know?
Yeah.
True enough, I was making enough to be shut up, I thought, you know, but since I've been working on my own, that wasn't enough to shut me up.
Yeah.
You know, I should have been talking. But, but at the same time, you don't know until you know.
Sure.
And it's just really hurtful how the system within itself, even when you have leaders like the mayor, because I reached out to him and he definitely responded. And he basically took me back to the starting point of the people who basically seen that I filed a grievance was like, oh, shoot, she filed a grievance. Let's give it to her.
Yeah.
It was like team huddle meeting.
Yeah.
This is her grievance about. So what you going to do to attack and what you going to do to attack? Because what the goal is to get her out of here.
Because then it became an issue about you not being a team person. You one of the things questioning them, you don't get to ask questions, as one of the HR people said, like, you don't get to ask questions.
The HR manager.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
She told me I could never ask for stuff in writing. I can never ask questions. You can't ask the manager to put anything in writing. I noticed on every email you say you would like to have something in writing. They don't have to respond to your writing. Basically, you're training me to not think that they're supposed to respect me. They don't have to give respect back. But I have to give it.
Yeah.
But don't expect to get it back. Because you're not going to get it back, you know? And it's like, really?
One of the things I know working with corporations is that once they start putting stuff in writing and the documenting and all of that, you just might as well, like, girl, you crossed I look like you rolled your left eye rolled, and, you know, they're writing you up for whatever. And it's so crazy because they intentionally, they know back then that you were going to be terminated. And you're thinking, I'm going through this process because this is their process, this is their policy, I'm following it, and you're thinking you're safe because this is the route they're telling you need to go to resolve it, because they put it out there as though they want to resolve and work through and all of that, and then it turns out that, well, not really. We just want. Now we see that you're going to say something and not do what we tell you to do and just take what we give you, then you don't fit this culture anymore. We got to work to get you out of here. And that happens all too often. You know, there's a whistleblower. I just don't know how effective it is, though. And you see some cases where people can, I think it's on like maybe a federal level. You can always be a whistleblower and let them know something is going on. But I don't know, again, I don't know how effective it is. You see sometimes like the lady in, was it FedEx in Texas?
Oh, yeah.
Was paid, and, you know, different people. But I don't know how effective it really is, and how it seems like it takes a long time for things to happen.
I'm learning too, in Texas, their laws is a little bit more fair than how our laws is written. You know, our laws is really hard for Black people to get discrimination lawsuits and win. That's why a lot of lawyers do not take our cases, because how the laws is written. It's not written for us to be able to win. We have to basically show so much different issues besides retaliation just to even get heard and even get a lawyer, because they know how long it takes and then how they try to even pay out, because we even got a cap on how much we pay out. Where in Texas there's no cap. You know? So that's why you see millions. You know, so they're gonna, until we can figure out how to get that law change, they're gonna keep discrimination really big in Oklahoma, because they don't have no consequences. And especially in the state of the city of Tulsa. The city of Tulsa, I mean, soon as I, you know, start looking for attorneys, they start going after the same attorneys I was going after, you know. And no, I don't have hard evidence, but I literally had an attorney tell me it took him too much just to make sure there was no conflict of interest. And then to tell me after he sent an email to the city of Tulsa telling how they violated so many laws on this email to the mayor, then the next day he tells me it's a conflict of interest in this case. Well, you told me you took 2 months just to review it.
Yeah.
Now it's a conflict of interest in this case. What is really going on? Then you were in Edmond. Now you're downtown Tulsa. You know? So it's like, really? That's not the game? So it's just a power ego there, you know? And I just want to touch on, too, I never, ever had a disciplinary action, a quality issue, been written up, nothing before I filed that grievance. After I filed that grievance, I had every issue wrong with me within the city of Tulsa. I mean, everything was wrong with me, from my attitude, from not being a team player, from, it's a word that they normally use so much. You hear it on the news. It's like a word that should just go with when you Google black women, you know, the angry black, you know, just all the above. And it's just like, really? Yeah, but why y'all didn't say that when y'all, this is the same woman y'all recruited for this job. Right. This is the same woman y'all made a job. This is the same woman that y'all allowed flex her schedule to make sure she could do 40 hours a week and attend to her exceptional child therapy sessions 3 days a week for speech, occupational, and physical therapy. Yeah. This is the same woman that always go get birthday cards for everyone on the team to make sure everyone was happy when it was their birthday time. Yeah. You know, this is the same woman that you're allowed to bring her kid, but at the same time, you allowed your other team players to bring kids too. See, they tell one thing, you know, I was told that they told the NAACP president at the time, oh, it's because we told you not to bring your kid. That's why they let you know. And we told you over and over and over. And it's like the fact that they tell us that and we run with it. No, research it. Yeah. And tell them, that's really the reason you want to say why we should not support her? Because that's a lot of things here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We let them tell us one reason of why we shouldn't support us, and then we run with it. Yeah, she brought her kids to school. Yeah, you know, and that's all it takes for us not to be supportive. Instead of doing our due diligence and do homework. And
that's what I was going to say, because the end of that, they dropped the ball. The president dropped the ball for sure on that.
But now he's in the same seat, going on the news saying that he's been dismissed and overlooked for ARPA funds too. Really? You know, I haven't
seen that. To go find it.
Yeah, you need to go.
Someone mentioned it. How really?
Yeah, so it's like you now the tables is turning, right? Okay.
It's amazing how effective you can be when it's you, but you don't want to stand up and support when if it's wrong, it's wrong, no matter who it is. No matter who it is, if it's wrong, it's wrong. Stand up for what's right.
That's it. And that's what we need to learn here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, is that quit believing rumors and learn to stand for something. And when you do spread it, spread the facts of it. Yeah. You know, go research and read. Not research their petitions, because they write what they want to write. Right. And get away with it. They do it well.
Yeah, I was just reading I was just reading here this court filing, and I'm just like at a wow, because just even this particular judge is like, I didn't have time to read. Do you blatantly say I didn't have time to read? I'm ruling over your stuff, but I didn't have time to read it. I didn't have time to. It was too much stuff. Are you kidding me? This is written. You guys, it's written. I think it's filed already in Tulsa County.
No,
district court. Yeah.
When I tell you God is truly using me,
He is.
I'm going to write a book. A book is coming. Because when I tell you so many obstacles that the most person really can't go through, it's a fight on every level.
It is.
You know, and it's like, now I'm at the federal court level, and now I got to fight with you, Judge? Like, you're really going to sit up here and tell me you're not reading my exhibits of my case filing, but yet you the same judge that got to make a ruling? Where do they do that at?
Yeah.
And how you get away with it on a transcript by saying that?
Right. And that's one thing I just want to say. I saw a post of a young lady who's fighting right now here in Tulsa, and she mentioned in the post to make sure that you're always, so if you're listening, go to court, always get someone to, a court reporter, to transcribe the whole case for you while you're in court. You'll need that. Get that. I think she said that can be as low as $20.
Yeah.
It's not very expensive, but it's something you need. So that's written, and it's gonna be there. It doesn't get changed typically. Haven't heard any cases where it was changed, and you usually get that. Make sure you get that. I just want to throw that out there because that's very important. I didn't realize it was. I always thought they were in every courtroom, doing that. And I didn't realize it needed to be requested. So if you go to court, make sure you pay for that extra. It's worth it to have that evidence in case something goes wrong, someone lies, you can prove something different, but make sure that they put it on that's the record. Make sure that they put it on record and you have a copy of that record. Right. And this copy of this is just unbelievable. I'm literally reading this where the judge is just stating, listen, I didn't read it. So how do you rule over, or do you just keep wasting people's money and time? Because now, I didn't read it, and I knew you were coming this day, and I'm just going to tell you I didn't read it. So we have to come back. You need to pay your attorney to show back up the next time. That's just so unfair and so wrong. We've got to figure out how to change this, reset this justice system, the education system, all these systems.
Yes, because it's like you really gonna tell the person who go make. You put your clothes on the same way I do.
Right.
Judge or no judge. Are you really gonna tell someone that has made it this far and have fought every step of the way in her case? And say, I just didn't read it. You really messing with the wrong one.
Right.
And I'm not saying that because, I mean.
It's obvious that you'll fight. Yeah, it's obvious that you're not giving up. And it's obvious that you're not going away. Rightfully so.
So it's like, why would you be so biased?
Yeah.
And flat out make the city of Tulsa feel like, oh, we won this judge. He flat out told us he didn't read her stuff because it was too much.
Yeah.
And that's why they come back and say what they want to say. Well, we need to just dismiss it. No, you've been saying for 4 months that you needed to get exhibits, which I don't know what you're going to get to support your case. Yeah. Because you don't have a case. Not when Sondia got recordings of every incident that happened at the city of Tulsa.
Right.
And by the way, if anyone is listening, you need to learn to go in every meeting with your recorder on, because this is a state that only allows one person to know that you're recording, and it's you.
Yeah.
So always have recordings. I'm so cold-blooded. If I feel like a phone call ain't going my way, I would say, let me call you right back.
Yeah.
And I'm calling back on the recorder, because there's just so many people are so accustomed to lying these days, and they can make people believe in them. Yeah. So when you got this system set up the way it's set up, where con artist wins every time, you got to have a recording. That's true. Thank God that Governor Stitt had that rule. Yeah. So know that when you go in these meetings, you just get you an app and get to going, because that's what's going to need you at the end of the day. That's what's going to save your life. Yeah.
Yes. that is so critical. Yes. And that is your right. Even when the employer tells you can't record, you can record. You have the right to record. Right. It's your right to record.
I was told several times by the city of Tulsa HR. I mean, basically tried to bully me, bully me in a setting like this. Are you recording? Yes. Turn it off. This is not a meeting, we're recording. Okay, well, let me exit. Well, you can be terminated if you exit. Well, you just told me to turn my recorder off. So let's figure out what we're going to do. Either we're going to record or I'm going to exit and you'll terminate me. What you want to do? Because I'm recording. Yeah. And it was just back and forth. And I'm like, you're recording right now.
Yeah, you were bold for them. Yeah, you were too bold.
But they are bullies. They do people like that. And it's like, you really are trying to bully me in here when I know the law.
Yeah. And it's like, what was for what, though? I'm trying to understand. Why is it so hard to be fair?
For what?
When you think of the IT department, they don't have to be there. They can be anywhere. Like you said, there were people in your department that lived in other states that have been working even pre-pandemic, before we even heard of COVID. Yes. So it's really frustrating when you have situations where it's just blatant that people just don't want to be fair.
They don't.
And the systems, because that, to me, it's like, that's not even something that,
it was so petty that when I was talking to HR, and they basically was like, the IT department, and at one point in time, don't get me wrong, IT was even kind of like considering maybe part-time doing it, but the HR director, so if you got an HR director that you basically on their bad side too, it's like they gonna make sure it don't happen.
Yeah.
And this particular HR manager made sure that, until I said, well, this is really odd, because you guys had an HR working in Dallas with a newborn baby. You don't know what you're talking about. That was a pilot program. And hey, calm down.
It happened.
Calm down.
Yeah.
I know what you think I don't know.
Yeah.
See, people talk. And that happened. You guys paid this man in Dallas to work on a project. It doesn't, regardless, it was a pilot at anything. He was a city in Tulsa employee with the new baby at home, because he told me himself the only reason he took the position because his wife made more money in Dallas, and therefore he was going to be the stay-home parent. So city didn't want to let him go, so they basically was like, we'll pay you.
It's created the job.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it's like, you guys do things. You can write all these policies, but if you're not adhering to them and making for sure they are adhering to them, they get away with whatever they want, because they create the policies. Again, they're the ones over the policies. They create the policies, and they have the power to rule over these policies.
Right.
So it's like, where do we stand?
Yeah. It's really. I hate to see you going through this again. When you first started out, I never imagined that it would have gone this far, especially with the information that you shared with them. Again, they could have easily at that point said, you know what, you're right. Let us figure this out, because we're in the middle of a pandemic. People are going to be working from home, and then I think not long after that, the governor closed everything down. And so then they decided that you guys did need to work from home.
You see how God works?
Yeah.
I was going back and forth with him, back and forth. I promise, one day on my computer, I was like, I don't know how much more I can take this. Because, I just had a new baby, so I'm like going through. When I come back from maternity leave, they basically took money away because they said I didn't turn off my leave that I accrued. First of all, I don't work in HR, so how can I do that? And second of all, I wasn't turning in my payroll, so how can I do that?
Right.
So then
they start really messing with you.
Took money away from paychecks, because they said, well, your leave wasn't turned off when you was on maternity leave, so you owe us, $3,000. I don't work for HR. I didn't know, and actually, my boss put in the email saying, hey, you accrue leave.
Yeah.
He put it in the text message, so it's like, I'm getting punished again.
Yeah.
So it's like, I didn't know how much with me just having a child and me going through it with an exceptional child, how much more I can take in dealing with. I mean, because Angela, when I get there, them emails will be boom, HR, boom, CIO, boom, manager, and I was just like, are y'all gonna let me work? I gotta defend myself on every email y'all send me today.
All day, back and forth.
Every day, the harassment was real. When people say harassment, I used to think, as a kid, oh man, people use that word so bluntly. But man, when you go through it, I see why you use that word. Yeah. Because if you've been harassed, you've been harassed. Yeah. Yeah. And if you've been retaliated, it's retaliation. Like you come in one day, you're using the restroom every day, and then the next day you locked out of the bathroom and they're telling you to go use the bathroom like you're watching the movie Hidden Figures. You know? And it's like and then when you talk to a person of your ethnic background and you say, have you seen the movie Hidden Figures? Yes. Yeah. Well, that's how my bathroom is. Well, I could, I don't know if I agree with that. I'm locked out and I'm using the bathroom up and around the corner. Yeah. So why you can't? It's just the way we train ourselves to not be supportive too, because at the end of the day, we're like, I'm not jeopardizing my job for you.
Yeah.
So I'm just to be along with the bandwagon.
And that unfortunately that happens because people are like, yeah, I don't I don't want to get involved because I'm not trying to mess up what I have going on. Because if I say something, I know that they're going to come after me and start retaliating against me.
Right.
And you have that because you have to wonder how does this keep happening? How has it been allowed for so many years? And you understand that you talk to people off the record. You talk to them, they're like, yeah, they like that. That's what they do. But so why come y'all won't say anything? Why do you just because they got a job and they're gonna have a pension and they're gonna have they got their vacation and they have bills to pay.
Right.
And it's something that they have to weigh out. But at what point do we decide, listen, right is right and wrong is wrong, and I don't want to lose my job, but I'm gonna have to speak up.
I appreciate all those leaders that we had way back before our time, because if we had the leaders of the people who we operate today, we would be some
bad.
Uncle Tom sellout mother. Because because seriously, we do not. I don't even know how anybody could sit in a position and see someone taking someone through hell. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Don't I know?
Yeah.
Dealing with the city. So listen, I can't believe the time has gone by. We didn't even take a commercial break, and we just getting really close to the end. Before we go, I want to make sure that you tell the listeners how can people support you right now, Sondia?
You can basically support me by going to www.ratemyattorney.co because if you ever had to hire an attorney here in the city of Tulsa, I would like to know, good or bad, how did it work for you? Because I want to stop the system that is not working for us by creating our own system to work for us. And no, we may not get the justice that we need by taking them down, but we helping each other not keep going into the same system. And that system is repeatedly supporting horrible people who don't work for us.
Yeah.
We got to find people that is working for us, that's standing for us. Even like with Ron, just what he's doing. He's standing. Nobody else would ask about it. Not texting during meetings. They text all the time. That's why I think those city council meetings is a waste of time, because you don't get respect. No matter you going up there giving your freedom of speech, they still already got in their minds how they want to rule things. Yeah. And it's like, do you really listen to me? Or are you up there on your phone texting? So when I seen it, I was like, oh, I think that's true, because you never get an eye contact. You never get asked questions. You never get, well, we're going to make a different decision today. It's like we're already trained. You know what I mean? We know. And see, when I used to sit on those, I would have just I don't agree. Hey, I don't agree, But of course you get ruled in favor by the most votes. So, people who don't want no problems go say, yes, agree, yes, agree, yes, agree. Yeah. Just like those meetings that I had when I filed appeals. Those meetings are trained. They pick by the mayor. They hand pick who they want to have in there. Right. So they're not going to be fair. It's like, why do you even have these predetermination hearings when you're not even going to be fair? I really thought they really was going to be fair, because
the first one, up until we got started in that first one, I knew after a few minutes, this is a waste of time. This is just for formality, because they're not gonna. These clowns are just right here in your face, like.
And the bad thing is, you got people that look like you that is the main decision maker. It's like, dude, you got kids that go to Booker T. You got kids that might be faced in these situations, even if you're not here. Yeah. You got to think about when you leave. They're going to treat your baby the same way like you're treating someone else's child or adult and allowing the racism to exist. You're just sitting there just to be the face, the golden token. That's why I don't understand why people sitting in these positions just to be, I'm the token. No, be somebody. Yeah. That's why I say thank God for the leaders that we had back in the 1907s and 1918s, and because them people spoke up, and they used to get beat for doing it.
Lost their lives. I had have a mentor, and then I have another friend a few friends who are white, and we have some frank, open conversations, some just blunt. And a couple of them have expressed, hey, white people don't have to do as much stuff as they used to have to do, because you have people that look like you that are doing more to you, harm to you than we are. Right. In some cases. And so which is unfortunate. Dr. Chintilla, I think you've been on her show before, haven't you?
Yes, I have. She Prentice Pons, so shout out to Mr. Pons.
Free Prentice Pons.
Wrongful conviction again.
Yes, some more of this railroading and unfair practices and treatment, and just people abusing power. In regards to his case. But there was a lady from, I believe she was from the Philadelphia area, and she just expressed how tough it is when you have to fight against people who look like you, because they've learned the system, they get in, and then they learn and they doing the same thing. So it's like a layer in between the old racism and what they're doing and what they're doing to us. And then when people like us stand up to them, it looks like people are like, why are you fighting against your own kind? Why are you doing that? Why are you putting your dirty laundry out there? Listen, those people already know all about all of that before you even get it figured out what happened to you. They already know that. They know what they're doing. They know those plans, and they can see it. They know that they paid off this middle person to do something, and they took the money for them and their family, and they straight, and they know it leaves you out high. It leaves you out dry with nothing, and they understand that. So it just missed me with all that kind of stuff, and people talking, just
no.
You're not black, or you don't care about the black people. Get out of here. Take this shoe so I don't have to put it somewhere. But it's like, no. And again, I say, and I'm going to keep saying, I have people in my family of all different races. And just like I love my children, I know somebody who's white, somebody who's Hispanic, Native American, they love their kids as well, right? So you value people's lives and you respect people, and you can do that. You can respect yourself, you can win, and still allowing someone else to win without trying to take somebody out, without trying to do all those things. Right is right and fair is fair. There's just no other way to say it. No. Listen, we got 3 minutes left, Sondia. Yes. What you got to say? What you got to say for the people?
I just want them to know, if you have something that you believe in, stand up and fight for it.
Yeah.
We're in a time now that we just can't turn our nose and turn our head and walk away. Right. We have to make it our business and help become the fight.
Yes.
Because we're in a different time now. And now we got to look at for our generation, our next generation, our children. If we don't show them how to stand together, what is this world going to be like?
Right.
So we have to start showing them within our own foundations, with our own homes, how we stand up, not just for our family, but other people, extended cousins, extended friends, just people that we know are going through something that they shouldn't be going through. We should make it our business to stand, and we can start by just a simple thing. Share stuff, share information, whether it's Facebook, whether it's talking on the telephone, whether it's with a friend. Just share somebody's story so the next person can feel like if you don't want to support it, they'll do it for you because you shared it with them. That's it.
Yeah.
So just stand up for what you believe in.
Amen. Well, thank you again so much for coming on the show. It's always good to talk to you and just get an update on what's going on. We're praying for God to do what he needs to do, that you will have the victory over this situation, and that it will be a change in the culture at the city of Tulsa, that we begin to tear up and eliminate all of those people who
that's the goal,
who's a part of that whole group that keep everything so just messed up. We'll just use that word. Yeah. And they just pass it down and have their kids come in. Your girl come back and your child. So we're gonna break all that up in the name of Jesus. Amen. I'm gonna just say it like that. Lord. So listen, I told you guys. Oh, before I go, you had mentioned about getting, sharing that information. I want to give a shout out to Nora Brown. She had mentioned, I saw her at CEO's Night Out. You'll have to come to that. It's really good. Ramon Walker was the speaker last month, and very good information, especially for business owners, to take the CEOs, leaders, whoever, to take that information and just be able to apply it. And it's awesome. So you have to catch it on the replay on CEO's Night Out meets the Greenwood Beat is the page, and you can find, I think, the video there. But Nora set up a Zoom that she does with her siblings. I think she has a large family, and so the siblings get together and they share information and are kind of a support system. So we have to get to that. And then also to Keisha at Fuzzy Trees, she's working to get everybody together. She started speaking out after we had the recent deaths, the 3 that were young people. This is heartbreaking. Just that we have to get back to valuing ourselves and people and teaching our children that, because they say our children are the future, but if they're not here, they're not going to be our future. We're not going to have a future if they're killing each other off. So we have to do something. So she's working on that. I'm going to keep everybody in the loop on that once I find out. She did make a post and ask about, so she's looking into a meeting place for people, the community to come together, and let's start talking about how we can plan to come together. We need to know one another, know people's kids, grandkids, whatever, so forth and so on. So I'll keep everybody updated. But as I promised, we're gonna go out. A few minutes of inspiration. So don't go anywhere.
Okay, let's hear it.